great rivalries in all of sports. It's under the lights tonight in the latter half of our lacrosse doubleheader on Big Ten Network. Senior Day to set the stage for Michigan versus Ohio State on the final day of the regular season for these teams with postseason seeding on the line. We welcome you to Ann Arbor. And welcome you inside the booth. Greg Bice, Jason Ross Jr. Greg, both coaches emphasized you don't really have to bring up the importance of this matchup for your players to understand just how important it is.
Ohio State, Michigan, you really don't need to say anything else. There will be fireworks. Emotions are high. This is the one that's been circled on their calendar all year long. As soon as this game ends, it gets circled again.
Really good players in this matchup. When you talk Michigan, to start off with them, you don't talk the Wolverines without bringing up Josh Zawada.
Josh Zawada is the greatest offensive player in Michigan history. Leads name all over the record books. Goals, points, everything. He can do it all. He is electric. Ball in his stick. He is fantastic. He's good off ball. Great feeder. He's going to be covered by Bobby Van Buren, one of the best lockdown defenders in all of college lacrosse for the Buckeyes. It'll be fun to watch that matchup tonight.
It will be a fun matchup. And for Ohio State, we talk a lot about Jack Myers, and rightfully so, but you feel it's Colby Smith who really stirs the pot.
Colby Smith has battled through injuries all year, but he's a stretch shooter. He's the Buckeyes' only deep threat. He can get a few going from the outside. That'll open things up for Jack Myers. He's going to be covered by Darby, who's a great defender for the Wolverines. So I feel like if Colby Smith can get a few from the outside, he's going to open things up for the rest of his teammates.
Welcome to Ann Arbor. Skylar Wallens will get the start as the goaltender for Ohio State. You see his record this season. A player, Greg, who you know well.
Yeah, he's a fantastic athlete. Can make a lot of plays outside, around the cage. They're gonna need to make some saves tonight, no doubt.
And on the opposite side, Shean Carr, 6'2", junior from Maryland. Will play a key role today for the Wolverines. Could potentially see two goaltenders for them. They flip-flopped in the past at halftime. So that is something we might expect. Hunter Taylor could potentially be an option for the second half. So keep an eye on that. Well, it's Michigan, Ohio State. Again, as the coach has said throughout the week, you really make it clear at the banquet. And then you make it clear in the fall, then the spring, that it's something that's on your heart. And if you lose, you kind of second-guess everything after a game like this. It's the final day of the regular season for both of these teams. We know after the Penn State-Rutgers result, with Penn State winning, that they will clinch at least a share of the regular season title, and that this game is now for the 4 seed and a chance to host in the Big Ten tournament. So a huge one on the line, with postseason seeding and, of course, the outcome of a huge rivalry matchup between Michigan and Ohio State.
And we saw right there the face-offs are going to be crucial in this game, as they are in every game. But this is a category that is completely dominated on paper by the Wolverines. And you saw Ohio State send out Johnny Cool, long stick, with Colin Brown on the wing. So they double pulled right off the bat, just trying to make it a 50-50 ground ball and not let the two-headed monster of Rowlett and Wietfeldt for the Wolverines get going. But 1 for 1 right now so far for the Wolverines on faceoffs.
Ohio State really struggled in the faceoff category in their loss 17-8 to Hopkins a week ago. Lost that faceoff battle 21-8. Really didn't have the ball for most of that game, and it was a huge possession advantage for Hopkins throughout. Michigan's first goal of the evening. Jake Bonomi gets the party started in Ann Arbor in front of this sold-out crowd of 2,500.
Yeah, just a simple pick behind, a little big little action. And Connor Camille on ball gets picked. Van Buren doesn't show. Nobody slides. Nobody helps. They don't get much easier than that. Nice pick from Michael Boehm. But Ohio State has had a lot of problems lately of defending the short stick invert. Not sure if Coach Connery saw something on film, but they run a lot of big little anyways, but they attack them early and it pays off.
And both coaches brought up the big little. That's essentially trying to get the matchup you want, right?
Yeah, that's picks, repicks, matchup, get the matchup, and then creating offense out of that. As much as Michigan runs it, Ohio State will run way more. When we talk to Coach Connery, he's like, you know what the Buckeyes are going to do? It's going to be big little, followed by big little, followed by more big little. So, you know, these teams are who they are at this point. You're not going to surprise anybody. There's nothing, nothing seriously new, and now it's just about execution.
Wietfeldt and Nick Rowlett have been very key for Michigan in the face-off category this year. Those two kind of split the duties. Michigan with possession again. Rolling around the cage is Zawada. We talked about in the open.
Zawada's actually being covered by Hudgens. Thought we'd see Van Buren on him, but Marcus Hudgens, a terrific defender as well.
Hudgens, Van Buren, and Cullen Brown, the three close defensemen for Ohio State. It's believed to be one of, if not the first time, that three African-American athletes are starting at close defense for a Power 5 lacrosse program. Awesome to see on the Ohio State side. Head coach Nick Myers has really emphasized bringing in that on his program.
Yeah, when you look at the Michigan Wolverines attack line of Boehm, Zawada, and Cohen, I mean, they're a three-headed monster. They are nasty. They are top three of the top four point scorers in all of the Big Ten as far as points per game. And so you got to figure out how to slow them down. And he thinks athletically that the three that he's put down are the best athletes and can be able to cover those three Dodgers, because all three of those guys for the Wolverines can create on their own.
Cullen Brown has been fantastic. He gets his first start, by the way, at close defenseman this year.
Yeah, he's been great as a freshman. He's got a lot of minutes, and he's earned that starting spot today. Jack Myers has the Michigan defense hung.
Operating at the X. Now he maneuvers out to the top here. Ohio State in their black jerseys today. Whipping it wide there. There's Colby Smith. Again, Greg, you feel he could kind of stir the pot today. We talked a lot about Jack Myers, what he brings to the table. Colby Smith could have a huge impact on this game.
Yeah, I just think what he brings to the Ohio State offense is sorely needed. He's the only guy that can do it. And you see there, Ohio State gets deep into the shot clock. That's one of the things that they're known for is, especially when you're not getting possessions, they want to maximize and be efficient. So they're looking for a great shot at every position. Here's keys to the game, starting with turn the faceoffs in the 50-50. You saw Ohio State trying to do that. Don't let this two-headed monster of the Wolverines at the X just win it cleanly and get easy faceoff wins. And then they need to be efficient on offense. They're on paper, they're going to be starting on defense a lot of the time, and they're going to have to get stops when they get the ball to the offense. They're going to have to put it in the back of the net. For the Wolverines, they got to score in transition. The Ohio State defense 6-on-6 is so good. And then make saves. If they can get to 50% in the cage, they feel that their defense and offense are playing well. They get some stops, and they'll be able to bury the Buckeyes.
Ryan Cohen maneuvering down, dips it off. Zawada fired, turning. Now a ground ball. See who can scoop it up. Iowa State regains the possession.
Great take from Zawada. Just gets to a good spot, puts it on cage, and Wallen throws a leg out there and makes the save. This Michigan team has lost 2 straight games to ranked teams, 11-9 to Penn State last week, and OT lost the prior week to Rutgers. Competition just has been so tough in the Big Ten this year, top to bottom. Top to bottom, this is the best conference in college lacrosse. And when you talk about, obviously you look at these teams, you look at the talent. Then you go to the coaches. The coaches are fantastic, and you see these staffs that these guys have, and then all of these facilities that these programs have are fantastic.
Ohio State knots it up early.
Blake Eiland.
And really good in his freshman season. Another player that Nick Myers pointed out to us.
He can do anything for the Buckeyes, and I love it. He starts on D. Look at little leaner there, looks down and finishes high. But Blake Eiland is a guy who's taken faceoffs for the Buckeyes. He usually starts, plays D-midi. If they like the matchup, they leave him on and let him attack. And you saw it right there, and the Wolverines weren't ready to slide. And Blake Eiland just calls his own number, and what a pretty finish.
Ohio State goal.
His 4th goal this season.
34, Blake Eiland, unassisted at 9:59 of the first period.
Yeah, I like the Ohio State short stick D-midi unit. I think is very talented. And I'd like to see them stay on and play and challenge the Wolverines, especially with the struggles that Ohio State's had on offense this season.
Have to find ways to be dynamic offensively for Ohio State. That's something they've lacked, as Greg just noted there. Here's Aiden Mulholland. He can get involved offensively. 10 goals on the season. That second midfield line. O'Holland, Jacob Jackson, and Peter Thompson. Bonomi, Aronson, and Justin Brown make up their other midfield line. Here's Mulholland again.
Well-timed slide from Colin Brown.
Marcus Hodgins nearly caused a turnover last time Michigan had possession. Nice move there from Zawada. Didn't result in a goal against Skylar Wallem, the goaltender starting off for Ohio State today. Physical play in the midfield. Re-emerging there is Michael Boehm to the delight of this crowd.
Gritty play from Michael Boehm. Going back to that last save that Wallem had against Zawada. Zawada just beat Hodgins clean and had a one-on-one, and Wallem beat him to the spot. So great save from Wallem. And Wallen's a goalie who can get hot.
Again, we know this game is for the 4 seed and a chance to host based on the Penn State-Rutgers result in the first game of our doubleheader. That goes high and long from Peter Thompson, the 5th-year player for Michigan, on their senior day. As you see, Nick Myers, the head coach for Ohio State, his 15th season at the helm. His group 5-7, 1-3 in Big Ten play. So Weiland was tested again there. Michigan said they wanted to test him early.
Yeah, once again, you see the big little attacking the short stick from behind, and Ohio State has chosen. You've seen over the past couple games, they haven't really slid to their short sticks. They've left them on an island as they're getting attacked from behind the cage, and I don't know, it's pretty dangerous.
Another chance and another goal for the Buckeyes. Look who it is, Jack Myers getting involved as we anticipated.
Yeah, this is essentially what we saw on the other end of the field. This is just a simple pick. Jack Myers gets a step. You're going to see the pick here to Chicho. And Myers just keeps working upfield and is able to beat Carr.
His 18th of the season. Team leading 37th point. Back-to-back first-team All-Big Ten honors for Jack Myers over the past couple of seasons. Senior from Bethesda, Maryland. He's got 2 hat tricks, by the way, in his last 2 games against U of M.
And another face-off win for the Wolverines. So they haven't lost one yet. So, you know, this is, we talked to Coach Connery and the method that they have for their face-off guys. I absolutely love it. With Rowlett and Wietfeldt, they do 3 on, 3 off. So if you're coming in as an athlete, you know what you're getting. It doesn't matter if you get hot, you know, hey, I'm taking 3, the next guy's taking 3. And then out of that, they're able to build a rhythm, and then they're just wearing teams down.
That's what happened to Ohio State last week. They kind of got worn down being on the opposite side of where you'd like to be in that face-off battle. Again, that was against Hopkins a week ago. Buckeyes have lost 3 straight, trying to bounce back against their rival Michigan.
They lost Drew Blanchard, who was their starting face-off specialist. And it's been a tough uphill battle at DX.
Ever since then, it's been a buffet of Buckeyes.
That's right.
Trying to get the job done. Meanwhile, they get the possession back here. Blake Eiland already has one of the 2 Ohio State goals today. 34 in black.
Decided to run him off and not leave him on the offensive end of this possession. Their first midfield line. Borda, Magee, and they got Lewis out there.
Here's Magee. He can certainly get involved on the offensive side of things. Goes back up top to Kyle Borda.
Really important for Carr to get a save here. Get his confidence going. 2 shots on goal, two shots in the back of the net for the Buckeyes.
Myers and Eiland with those 2 goals. Colby Smith watched tightly, got around his man, fired a bounce shot that went wide.
So no reset, 17 seconds left on the shot clock.
Down to 14 seconds. Turning and firing there. It was Jack Myers who's looking for number 2, but there's that save that you were looking for.
A little confidence builder there for Carr. And Myers shot it right into his stick. And good job by Carr for holding his position, because you don't know where Jack Myers is going. So for him to be patient, to see it all the way in rather than guess, it's a nice save.
Buckeyes have struggled on the road this season. 0-4 away from Columbus in true road games. This would be quite the time to get that first road win, up 2-1 early. 4:50 to go in this opening quarter here in Ann Arbor. Peter Thompson working against Trent Dichigo there.
Matchup here for Zawada.
Zawada takes it, quick first step. Opts to patiently hold off. Ample time on the shot clock. Founds, that time a cutting Michael Boehm. Those two collaborate on the left side.
Covered by his high school teammate, Greg Langermeyer, and gets the best of him.
Boehm won the battle that time. Perhaps the first of multiple rounds between those two.
Michael Boehm is just such a good lacrosse player. Finds a way to get his hands free. You give him an inch, and he finds a way to put it in the back of the net.
Rivalry night, sold out crowd, 2-2 start, Michigan and Ohio State. What else could he ask for? A look at the updated standings. We know this game is for the 4 seed now and a chance to host in the Big Ten tournament based on the Penn State-Rutgers result. So the winner of this gets the 4 seed.
If playing your rival wasn't enough, the fact you get to play at home next Saturday. Add a little fuel to the fire.
Add on some implications to an already awesome matchup. There's, well, Nick Myers, the head coach for Ohio State. He's 11-2 in his career against Michigan. But he knows that each of these matchups is a new day as Michigan wins another faceoff. They haven't lost the battle on the faceoff category yet, and it results in another goal. You wanted them to score in transition. There is an opportunity.
Yeah, Wietfeldt, this is just pure domination by the Wolverines at the faceoff X. And you've seen Rowlett, you've seen Wietfeldt, and they just keep winning the ball to themselves. You got to pull out there, trying to muck it up, and just calls his own number, comes right down Main Street and just buries it. There's nothing you can do there if you're Walland, and if you're Ohio State, you have to figure something out at the faceoff X, because right now it's not even contested. These faceoff guys between Wietfeldt and Rowlett are just too good, and you're coming in, you're injured at the faceoff X, but you got to come up with a solution where they can't win it cleanly to themselves like that.
You mentioned Ohio State needs to find a way to turn those into 50-50s. Have not done that so far. Michigan with another possession here. Now up by a tally.
Yeah, if you're Ohio State, you're probably not winning many of these cleans. So try and get your wings involved. Try not to let them get this, this make it take it scenario, because once you get into the third and the fourth quarters and you've been starting on defense every single possession, that will just wear you down.
Peter Thompson fires it down low, and that finds the back of the net. Beautiful feed from Peter Thompson.
That's a next level feed. You said it, just elite. See Thompson here just running downhill. You see the sneak from Zawada, and to thread that through 2 defenders. I mean, that had to be perfect, and that hit him right in the stick. Running away, throwing back across your body. I'm sorry, that's Michael Boehm. So Michael Boehm with a nice sneak, way to find that soft spot, but that feed. His job was easy. Boehm's job was easy there.
Thanks to Peter Thompson, the Ann Arbor native who went to Detroit Catholic Central. Here's Michigan racing it again with momentum. An opportunity nearly opened up. Now it does! And it results in goal number 5. Coming quickly and in waves.
If you're a Wolverine fan, you absolutely love this. Playing make it, take it, playing fast. Trying to score in transition. We talked about that as being one of the keys. Right now, I mean, this is like on paper, it's playing out. You're starting with the ball on offense every single time. Here comes the timeout from Ohio State.
Feels much needed to just slow this momentum down, essentially kind of slow the game down a little bit here.
Yeah, this is a much needed timeout from the Buckeyes, and they need to figure out a way to slow down this face-off unit from the Wolverines and try and slow down the transition.
Kevin Connery in the midst of that huddle there has to love what he's seeing from his team so far. Again, they've lost 2 straight games. to very good teams. Penn State 11-9 a week ago. We saw what Penn State just did to Rutgers. And then an OT loss to Rutgers the prior week. Michigan has some big wins this season. One to point out is what they did to Maryland earlier this campaign. You see Zawada finding Boehm down low there.
This was best win in program history for the Wolverines, and what a confidence boost for these guys. And they did it in convincing fashion. 16-11, you see it there when Maryland was ranked number 2 in the country. And you talk about Coach Connery and the staff and what he's put together. And we talked to him on the call this week. The thing that stood out to me the most was, you know, we've talked to him in the past, and it's hey, we have a young team, and he's like, we got veterans now. We got juniors, we got seniors, we got guys that are contributing, that are leaders, that have been here, that know our culture, know our system. And you know, he's got Coach Borda there, who came over from Lafayette, coached with Nick Myers, his brother Pat Myers, and he's done a great job in his first season here. Offensively, they're organized, they're scoring goals, and a lot of that is because of Coach Borda.
2 years ago, Michigan beat Ohio State in the conference-only year. That was the conference-only year. They beat them in the quarters. The gap has really narrowed between these two. The overall historical record favors Ohio State. But entering today, Michigan, unlike the past, certainly came in as the favorite in this matchup. And early on, thanks in large part to these face-offs, we're seeing why.
Yeah, both of these teams are 1-3, but they're playing in the Big Ten. You know, in conference, they're 1-3. And we looked at that, you know, all these guys are ranked. It's just a gauntlet.
Zawada always lethal with the ball in his stick. Michigan's won 8 faceoffs in a row. Zawada, the low angle bid. Ground ball available. Boy, Wallen came all the way outside of the crease. Ultimately, it's scooped up by the Buckeyes.
She's athleticism.
The ride and the pressure from Michigan has been good of late. The Buckeyes clear and get it out. Ultimately, they are able to.
Ohio State needed that stop. Zawada had a shot, just wasn't able to put on cage and hit one of the defenders in front. A lot of times the defender, now all the colleges seem to want to defend it this way. Maybe I'm an outlier here, but everybody wants to fight through the picks and is so concerned about matchups. You know, for me as a defenseman, I prefer just to switch everything. If you get a matchup you don't like, slide early. You got the shot clock on your side, so you might have to slide and rotate a couple times. But you know, when you see these picks behind and see everybody wants to fight through, I'm probably wrong.
I think you're right most of the time. I really do. That's why I enjoy talking to you.
Everybody seems to, you know, try and fight through and keep the matchup. So I'm probably wrong.
So if Van Buren's matched up with, say, Zawada, they get this, you want the switch there.
I think just switch, and you know, it's so hard, and everybody's so good at setting picks. And you've seen 2 picks that have led to really easy goals for both of these teams. And you know, I think just switch, know that you're going to have the switch, and then have help, have guys ready to slide, have guys ready to support.
Michigan doing well to keep things to the outside there.
Great defense.
So Andrew Darby made an excellent play. They're fired up.
Everything going Michigan's way.
Final 60 seconds of an opening quarter that this crowd has loved. Aiden Mulholland, New York native.
Hey, going back to my point about switching on the picks, you play defense like that, doesn't matter what you do, just play defense like that. You didn't switch and you got stops, and Ohio State didn't even have an opportunity to put a shot on cage. Michigan's going to hold for the last shot of the quarter.
Which they can do as the shot clock's at 46, game clock at 30 now. So they can display the patience here and try to finish this out on a high note.
And you see the discrepancy in shots. Michigan has 14. Ohio State only has 5. That's what happens when you're starting on defense every time.
Peter Thompson whips it across. Beautiful move. That shot denied. It was Ryan Cohen. Possession will stay with Michigan here. They'll try to speed things up. Just 4 seconds left on the game clock. Going tight, passed across.
In the crease, landing the crease to Cohen.
Just 0.8 left on this first quarter clock. 5-2 Wolverines lead it over their rivals after 1 quarter of action in Ann Arbor. We'll return with more fun. A chance to host the Big Ten tournament is on the line tonight. We're expecting to see him on attack today. You really need to see all these personalities being honored.
Okay, Ohio State has a chance here. They get their,
These are the 50-50 balls. You were hoping the Buckeyes, if they have a chance today, to really have some sort of advantage when it comes to the face-off. That's what they need to do.
Yeah, and they ran James Hogan out there, who hasn't played a lot over the course of his career in here, but he got out there, made it a 50-50 ball like we talked about, and got possession. So I expect Ohio State to go back to Hogan.
Magee at midfield line lays it in behind the cage. Lewis trying to make a move here. Last time Ohio State had possession, they just could not get a shot on goal. Lewis with a nice dodge. He fires and scores! So Kyle Lewis gets the Buckeyes off to a nice start in the second quarter.
That's a big goal for the Buckeyes, obviously slowing the momentum coming here in the start of the second quarter. But you look at Lewis, and he's just patient, just rocks back and forth a couple times. You see the defense pushing out behind, not allowing him to transfer, and just no help. The roll back, and then nice job finishing, going 5-hole. But it's so hard. We talked about it on the other side of the ball for the Buckeyes. It's so hard as a short stick defensive midi to be caught on those goal line, the post, at X. You know, you got to send help if you're the defense.
Third goal of the season for Kyle Lewis on their midfield line with Pehlke and Mitchell.
So Ohio State now settling back in on defense. In Michigan, the flurry of goals that came in transition at the end of that first quarter. So we'll see what they draw up here in the 6-on-6.
That was one of your keys for the Wolverines today here as Ryan Cohen maneuvers in, looking for an opening.
Another pick. Ohio State has switched twice on those picks rather than fighting through. We'll see if that helps.
That pays dividends, yeah. Expecting certain matchups today, but you might just need to adjust on the fly here. Relatively easy save for Rowlett.
Yeah, that was one there that Michigan actually went to a double invert, so they brought both short sticks behind. And once again, Ohio State didn't send help. But like you said, there wasn't a lot on that shot. Nice check from Camille.
See if Ohio State can bring the battle back. They just couldn't quite find against Hopkins in their most recent loss.
Yeah, if you're not winning faceoffs, you have to find another way to get possessions, and that's you got to get stops. You got to get stops, and you got to clear it effectively.
Colby Smith was second on the team last season with 41 goals. The Pennsylvania native, 5th year. He's got 5 goals in 2 games against Michigan last season. Included a hat trick.
He's been fighting through injuries all year.
Player with a ton of talent. Here's Colby Smith. Speaking of talent.
If you're Ohio State, you need some movement. You're going to reset here off the post, but as Colby Smith is dodging, there's nowhere for him to go. Borda is standing out to his left and just, you know, you either got to cut through, you got to move, you got to create space. Ohio State wanted a foul there on that pick.
Shot clock back up, and the Buckeyes are back on the board. Quick 2-0 spurt for Ohio State to begin the second quarter.
Seeing this reoccurring theme here. Short stick inverts, one-on-one, and no help from the defense. This is as easy it gets for Borda. Borda's got great speed and a great dodger. You see him just get upfield, and there's no slide, there's no pressure. You got to make these guys earn it. There's nothing Carr can do. If you're Michigan, you got to realize you got to send some help. Make Ohio State string together passes. Make them work for those goals.
Beautiful sunset and night sky here, setting the awesome stage for a rivalry matchup that means a lot. Again, the 4 seed on the line, and it's 1 goal separating these 2 rivals. Michigan has looked to move fast. There's a turnover. How can Ohio State move fast to counter here? It's counterattack time for the Buckeyes. Colby Smith fires. Was looking to tie things up.
Hudgens with his stick in the passing lane. You see the athleticism, the speed from Hudgens getting upfield, creating an opportunity. Smith not able to put it on Cage.
Hudgens, the upperclassman of that group of close defensemen who's been so good for Ohio State. Played 3 seasons at Army before transferring. Has his 2 sisters who played lacrosse at Brown. Meanwhile, Ohio State goes back to work offensively after the nice play from Hudgens on the opposite end.
Pehlke attacking. Got 2 guys that slid. Great feed. So Michigan finally sent help, but they sent 2 guys, which creates its own problem. You only want to send 1. If you send 2 to scramble and recover, instead of 1 guy being open, now you have 2. Good save from Carr.
And the save on Jack Myers, who picks up his stick. Now Michigan's on the move again.
Michigan has numbers here if they decide to attack.
Ohio State was making a change. Michigan trying to take advantage. Nice defensive play there from the Buckeyes.
Yeah, not sure what happened with Ohio State. They were really slow in their sub game, and Michigan took advantage. Just wasn't able to put that shot on Cage.
Early stages, second quarter. Ohio State with a little 2-0 burst out of the gates here. In the second frame, feels like just what they needed after Michigan ended the first quarter with a flurry of momentum after face-off wins. Right down the alley, opportunity opened up. Nice save from Wallen, who appears to have his confidence back.
You know, once again, it's a one-on-one matchup. The guy, you know, Jacobs for Michigan runs by, creates a one-on-one with Wallen, and Wallen just stands tall. That's one that he'd like back for sure.
Jacob Jackson has 15 goals in the season. Very capable scorer from Dallas, Texas. 6 goals over his last 3 games. He's been hot of late.
They got Michael Boehm, the attackman, stuck on the defensive end. Blake Eiland is going to attack, so they're going to attack here, liking their matchup.
Remember, Blake Eiland scored the 2nd goal for Ohio State today. Help comes. Magee. Watched here by Boehm, as you mentioned, stuck on this end.
Michael Boehm's played a lot of box lacrosse. And one of the things about the box lacrosse guys is they know how to cross-check. They know how to move their feet. So it's not worst case scenario for the Wolverines.
Opportunity opens up for Ohio State. So it was in the crease.
In the crease. Jack Myers tried to go underneath. Good job from the Michigan defense. Michael Boehm playing some D there.
It's an interesting point you brought up about the box lacrosse, tighter confines.
Yes, yes. Michael Boehm was a great high school hockey player as well.
Ohio native.
Yes, yeah, he's got Michigan roots.
Mikey Boehm went 0 for 8 last week against Penn State. Stayed out on the field until about 10:30 p.m. Just shooting.
And that is the kind of kid you want in your program. You know, as a father, that's the kind of kid you want your son to be. And when you looked at his 0 for 8 performance last week, it wasn't like he was sailing shots 1,000 yards off Cage. There were some great saves from Penn State, and he had a lot of pipes. It speaks to his character and the kind of kid he is.
You look at the 2 games prior to going 0 for 8. He had 4 goals against Rutgers and then 4 against Maryland. He's got 9 career goals against Ohio State in 2 seasons of action so far against the Buckeyes.
And Michigan showed a 10-man ride there. Ohio State was able to break it. Coach Connery might have been just looking for a little momentum swing. It's all in the Buckeyes' favor now. Scored the last couple goals, as you mentioned, and more importantly, well, I guess you got to score goals to win, obviously, but they've gotten stops.
They've really answered back nicely to begin this second quarter. Jack Myers whips it wide.
Darby's stick is broken. Connery on the field to call the timeout, so they didn't have to play a man down.
They'll fix the twig. 5-4, Michigan leads it, but a nice start for Ohio State to begin the second quarter here in Ann Arbor.
This deal.
Tomorrow, one of the sport's great rivalries renews when Johns Hopkins and Maryland collide in the top 10 showdown Big Ten men's lacrosse. That's tomorrow at 6 Eastern, only on Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app. Talked to our buddy Mark Dixon earlier today, who will be on the call for that one. He's super pumped. We'll see what we're looking at tonight, Ohio State and Michigan. The winner of this one will have the 4 seed in the Big Ten tournament and the opportunity to host. So that's what's on the line. And you see on the Hopkins at Maryland, either team can win a share of the Big Ten regular season title with a win there. Penn State clinched a share with their win over Rutgers earlier today. Back to action we go. Shot whistles wide. Ohio State with possession again here, something we didn't say very often in the opening quarter. Things starting to tilt in their favor momentum-wise as this comeback brews. Hard collision. Another follow-up bid. Possession again will stick with Ohio State. This is what Hopkins did to them a week ago. There's the possessions kind of over and over again like this. But Ohio State is hoping to flip the script around in that category. They're doing it here.
Yeah, and they've been more aggressive in this possession. And see Jack Myers there just had Darby going both ways. And Pehlke now attacking.
Pehlke, 25 in black, gets it back out to Myers.
Outside.
And went outside.
That was a good look from Pehlke. Looks like both teams have their personnel on. Michigan actually has numbers again if they didn't recognize and see. The State was slow in the sub game once again.
Second time we've seen that. Ryan Cohen operating behind the cage. Zawada goes back out to Jacob Jackson, who had that one-on-one opportunity earlier in the quarter. Two-man game there with Zawada, who spins to the opposite, in the direction Jackson appeared to be coming over to set a pick for. Now they give it back to Jackson.
Back to the invert here. Ohio State finally decides to send help, and it pays off.
Let's see who can scoop up this ground ball. Diving efforts, ultimately bounces onto the stick of Zawada.
Great hustle from the Wolverines, and tough break for the Buckeyes. Looked like they were going to have a turnover. Weren't able to pick up the ground ball. Not sure what the officials are discussing here. See Matty Pehlke there, number 44. Legendary official in the game of lacrosse.
On the crew with Peter Buchanan.
I believe they're saying there's no possession. Yeah, there was no possession change, so they're getting the shot clock right. They had given them a change. They had it at 77. They're now at 22. So possession's going to stay with the Wolverines. However, they're not getting a full shot clock. They're saying Ohio State never had possession to flip the clock.
Shot clock inside of 20 seconds now. Zawada flips it back to Jackson. O'Holland. Opportunity for Boehm, and he turns it into a goal for Michigan to potentially grasp momentum back.
You got Boehm on a short stick once again. Talk about how crafty he is. Just gets to good spots. And if you're Ohio State, you got to. Hey, this is a matchup that favors the Wolverines. You got their leading scorer on a short stick attacking from his favorite spot at X, and you see the athleticism and the heart and the grit from Mikey Boehm. I mean, he's 6 feet. They got him at 155 pounds, but he is tough as nails.
Boehm, 3 goals on 3 shots. Hat trick. He's got half of the Michigan goals. Not a bad start for a player who entered today with 9 career goals against Ohio State.
You see these coaches make the halftime adjustments for the way that they're covering this big little.
It feels like it's been a conundrum for both sides so far.
Correct.
Peter Thompson dishes it back to Mulholland, right down the alley, shoots. Nice save from Walland into Ohio State.
Yeah, and Ohio State has to be careful with Michael Boehm. He has a knack for finding that ball around the crease. You saw him, you talk about his hockey background, tried to slap that one in. You got to find his stick, find his wrist. You're the defense there. Do not let him get free on those loose balls around the crease. Another save from Wallen.
clean up in the dirty areas, I guess.
Yeah, that's
hockey
him.
reference.
Yeah.
Now the Buckeyes go back to work.
They're going back to the big little. Surprise, surprise. They got Eiland. Kept him on. He's got a goal already in this game. Michigan decides to slide this time. Good choice.
Borda played it to the far side. Where now Colby Smith has it. And the Buckeyes answer right back.
Colby Smith dodging. He hasn't done that a lot this season. We talk about the injuries that he's had to overcome. Like in his matchup there with the short stick, it didn't look like he had a lot to shoot. I think he caught Carr by surprise. We'll see this on this replay. So Smith worked to his left. He's got just a big body, nice little roll, and then great shot. He's got a snappy release. It's very hard for goalies to pick that up, and it gets on him quick.
13th of the season. Player we highlighted in the open. Another one of those 50-50 plays for Ohio State. Going to be super important for them today. This ground ball remains array. Ultimately scooped up by Ohio State. Huge play now. They get rolling again here offensively. Colby Smith awaiting the feed. Now he has it.
Nice ground ball. And Mirer there handling the pressure. The impressive part to me, ball squirted at him, but he was able to break free of the Michigan defenders and clear it.
Inside of 4 minutes in this opening half. One goal separating these two rivals. Nice move. It bounces behind the cage, ultimately scooped up by Ohio State again. One of those 50-50 plays going their way.
Nice check.
Jimmy Pisani made a nice defensive play over there for Michigan.
Pisani, good job getting the stick in there. Knocking that ball loose.
Freshman with a bright future ahead, Illinois native, was a captain in high school.
And give some credit to Nick Rowlett there. They kept him on. They had the face-off man for the Wolverines trapped on defense, went after him. He played some pretty darn good defense.
Flag one flying, some laundry down in the field.
Not sure what we had.
Low angle bid, finds the back of the net. Zawada once more.
About as easy as they get for Zawada. Like half the Ohio State team was rotating, the other wasn't, and Zawada just parks. You see here, nobody's playing the ball behind, and then if you're Ohio State, you might want to cover that guy.
Yeah, not a bad idea. He's got 23 goals in the season now.
Michigan's all-time leading scorer in the program history. Good finish there from Zawada.
Set a single season record last season for goals, assists, and points. All Big Ten first team a season ago, and that record-setting year. Preseason All-American this season. He's really lived up to the hype. Collision, Ohio State wants a call. They don't get one. Now they want one again, and they will get it.
Yeah, they wanted the first one. They thought they hit Hogan in the back. How about Hogan stepping up and winning some face-offs for the Buckeyes?
Yeah.
We'll see it here. Ohio State might have had a case. Let's see that one more time. That's definitely a hold. That one's an easy call.
Colby Smith went down. Van Wees takes the knee.
Now this has been an Achilles heel for the Wolverines. They're only at 51% on their man-down unit.
Special teams overall have been a struggle for the Wolverines. Can Ohio State take advantage here?
Coach Connery thinks that 6-on-6. He's been playing well, both ends. Transition's been great. He's got to find ways to get stops.
They go downstairs and do indeed capitalize to make this a one-goal game.
Take a look at the penalty. What got us here? What a look from Jack Myers. You see the penalty, the hold, you see the hook. And the man up Buckeyes, and you see Jack Myers throws the fake, freezes the defense. How about his eyes? You looked, he was looking to the right and snaps it back to Shean. Steady Eddie down there on the pipe.
Ohio State.
I love that nickname, Steady Eddie. He's earned it.
Said he's calm and cool, and
Assisted by number 2,
he's tough.
Having a breakout season. Trying to wrap it up with victory over Michigan in the regular season. Right now, the Wolverines have the slim 1-goal edge. And these teams continue to go back and forth, latter stages, opening half. This rivalry means so much. You add the implications of potentially hosting two. What's on the line, of course, the pride and the victory in these two historic fan bases. Last season, here's what happened. So Ohio State won not only one, but two matchups. They beat Michigan in the final week of the regular season, and then a week later, they would go on to beat Michigan in the quarters. So you think the Wolverines don't remember that?
You remember all of them, especially in the rivalry game. In the game, and Jackson Reed had 2 5-goal games last year, and you see the history there. Ohio State leads at all time, 11-2. With the Wolverines, talking about that building the culture, finally having Coach Connery's guys in here, having veterans, and just that they're a great team.
Ohio State head coach Nick Myers 11-2 versus the Wolverines for his career.
When you talk about what this rivalry has done for the sport of lacrosse in both of these states, you grow up as a kid in Michigan, you grow up as a kid in Ohio State, you dream about being part of this rivalry. I coach a 3rd and 4th grade lacrosse team. Shout out to the Worthington Goats.
Got to give the shout out.
But the kids are so fun. We're talking about the game. This is a game when you're a kid, you dream about scoring a touchdown in the big house, scoring a touchdown in the shoe. And now you're saying, hey, I want to play in this game. I want to play lacrosse against the Wolverines. I want to play lacrosse against the Buckeyes. And you're seeing, the growth of the game in the Midwest and just having this rivalry in lacrosse, what it's doing and how it's elevating, the sport of lacrosse in Michigan and in Ohio.
People who grew up or at any point have lived in either state know the intensity of the year-round rivalry in all sports that Michigan and Ohio State truly is.
My children booed me out of the house when I told them I was coming up here. So
you were on dad duty all weekend and made your way up. I applaud you, my friend. Meanwhile, the Wolverines go back to work here, looking for some breathing room going into the locker room.
Okay, this is the same matchup that Boehm was able to score on last time. We'll see if Ohio State sends help.
Oh, he goes tumbling down.
Yeah, Connor Camille. So they were high school teammates. St. Ignatius has 4 from Cleveland, has 4 guys who are playing in this game. They were all the same class, the 20 class. You have Welsh and Boehm for the Wolverines, and you have Camille and Langermeyer from the Buckeyes. It looks like Coach Myers is returning the timeout.
It's an excellent program. You take a peek at this Ohio State group on the year. Again, it's been a rocky road in the words of Nick Myers, but they've played such an incredibly difficult schedule. In fact, the toughest in the country when you look at it here.
Yeah, they have the #1 strength of schedule. All 7 of their losses have come from teams ranked in the top 11 in the RPI. And this team has had to fight through some injuries, but you talk to Coach Myers, he said he loves this team. They're sticking together. They're fighting through this. And, you see the resiliency here. They were down a game that felt like right here that could have gone all Michigan's favor after that first quarter. They were running hot and heavy, and then, the momentum has turned now. Even though Michigan's still up, the momentum's turned for the Buckeyes, I feel.
It's one of the reasons I think why people love this sport. It truly is a game of runs, and we've felt that so far today. You can get more lacrosse action. Don't forget, tomorrow night, it's women's lacrosse as #2 Northwestern hosts #12 Maryland in the regular season finale. Live coverage begins tomorrow at 8 Eastern only on the Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app. It's Northwestern to Maryland on the women's side tomorrow night.
Yeah, right now, Michigan only has 2 saves. Ohio State has 7. So even though Michigan's been dominating the possessions, Ohio State is getting more stops, and they're being more efficient on the offensive end.
Ohio State hasn't won in a true road game this season. 0-4 on the road. Kind of been a different team away from Columbus, but they look like a different team in this second quarter than what we saw in the first quarter. We'll see if they can end it here on a high note.
The Wolverines are showing zones. They came out of that timeout with a zone package. See if it confuses the Buckeyes.
Long shot, and they score! Colby Smith from long range, able to tie the game.
That's your zone buster right there. Talked about his stretch shooting capabilities, and if you're the Wolverines, it's the one guy that you need to mark from the outside for Ohio State, and this is shooting practice for Colby Smith. Great placement. I mean, you saw he was shooting that ball before he caught. He was ready. He saw the gap and just waited, and great placement.
Knotted up at 7 apiece. Ohio State is 5-1 in the series in games in Ann Arbor against the Wolverines. See if they can get some pressure here. Wolverines try to clear cleanly, having some trouble getting through the midfield. Now they do.
Expect Michigan to hold for 1. Shot clock not a factor. It's in at 40 seconds left in the second quarter.
What they did at the end of the first quarter.
Jackson controls.
Four seed and a chance to host in the Big Ten tournament on the line between these two teams. A turnover potentially here with 12 seconds left in the half. It's still available and up for grabs.
They got a hold.
Yeah.
Connery wanted it with possession. That would have been a backbreaker. Buckeyes. Missed opportunity there for Ohio State. They had an easy ground ball, just weren't able to come up with it. We'll see if Michigan can capitalize. Moving screen. 4 seconds left.
Ohio State will have to go quickly, and it'll have to be another long-range shot. It comes in.
Ooh, on target.
We're able to test Carr there. Still remains 7-7, though, after 2 quarters of very entertaining play on the final day of the regular season in Ann Arbor. Well, there's so much on the line in this one. Again, number 4 seed. Obviously a rivalry that you take on for the rest of your life after today. And by the way, we'll have Nick Myers coming up here before we go to break. The head coach for Ohio State. He's won 11 times against Michigan in his career. That first half, though, what'd you take away?
I think the story is Michigan has dominated the faceoff X, which was expected, but Ohio State has been able to get stops and clear and be efficient on the offensive end.
Now we welcome in Ohio State head coach Nick Myers. Coach, the resilience of your team from the first quarter to the second was fun to watch. I guess, how do you put that resilience into words?
Yeah, listen, I appreciate that. You know, we're battling. You know, the face-off thing's tricky. These guys do certainly a great job there, and you know we're battling there for possessions. Played a lot of deep, but we made some stops. We cleared the ball, and I'm proud of the way the offense is, you know, balancing time of possession and finding ways to score at the same time. So, got a 0-0 game here, 30-minute game. We got to do a better job in the middle of the field. Certainly off the face-offs in the third quarter.
Coach, talking on the offensive side of the ball, what has been the reason for the success?
Listen, I think they're sharing the ball well. We've set some pretty good picks. We're doing a couple different things, but, you know, I think really just ball movement. Guys are winning some matchups. You know, the 2 goals off the face-off are the things that we're going to look at and scratch our head. I mean, it's one thing to lose them. We just can't give up goals off of it. So, you know, hopefully we can get that cleaned up. Offensively, we can stay in a rhythm. You know, I'm proud of those guys. Like I said, not seeing the ball and still staying in rhythm is tricky. But, you know, they've done a nice job, and I think we got to good spots in the field, too. You know, hopefully those shots will fall in the third quarter for us.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck in the second half. Really appreciate your time.
Okay, great.
It's halftime in Ann Arbor. 7-7, deadlocked. These two rivals. After the break, Greg and I will recap the first half and more, so stick around. Welcome back to Ann Arbor. 7-7 between the Buckeyes and Wolverines on the final day of the regular season. We welcome in Michigan head coach Kevin Connery. Coach, thanks for taking the time to join us. The face-off advantage for you guys, 13-3 right now. For fans out there, why has that been such a strength for your group, and we're seeing it again today?
Because we have two really unselfish guys who work really hard and push each other every day in practice. So when we get out here on game week, they're more than prepared. So when you have two guys who can control the X like that, your team's just going to get better.
Coach, what was the difference between the first quarter and the second quarter?
We got a little frantic. I think we just went inside. We took a deep breath. We embraced some more of our mindfulness training. We said, hey, let's just play our brand of lacrosse here. So I think it got away from us a little bit, but we're able to hit the reset button right now and get out here and have a really strong 30 minutes.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate your time. Good luck.
Thank you.
You heard it from the man himself, said they got a little frantic and a deep collective breath between halves for the Wolverines.
That's obviously one of the risks that you're going to take if you want to play fast, you want to try and score in transition. You're going to have to live with some of those turnovers, and obviously they got the best of the Wolverines there in the second quarter, so see if the Wolverines are able to take that deep breath, reset, and we'll see what Ohio State can draw up at the face-off X.
6 Wolverine turnovers, 4 for Ohio State. There's a chill in this night air now. Feels just right for Michigan, Ohio State. Save the warm weather for those Maryland guys tomorrow.
That's right. Wouldn't want it any other way.
Feels just right between these two. 50-50 ball. See who can scoop it up. Ultimately, Michigan takes it. There's the Wolverines who really owns the first quarter, latter stages in particular. Then Ohio State with quite the answer to begin the second quarter in this matchup if you're tuning in late, as a shot comes in from long range and finds the back of the net quickly for the Wolverines. A game that could determine and will determine who gets the 4 seed and a chance to host in the Big Ten tournament.
How about that? Houlihan calling his own number. And what should have been an Ohio State face-off win turns into a Michigan goal. And Houlihan here just calling his own number, seeing space, and he's going against Eiland, who's a defensive midfielder. And how about that shot location?
Good to see there. The Michigan scoring on the season has been pretty top-heavy when you think of guys like Michael Boehm and Josh Zawada. But some variety there. Yeah, mentioned he's kind of called his own number.
Looks like that breath at the halftime reset worked. Ohio State got away. Oh, I thought they were going to get away with it. They didn't. The defenseman ran right in and out of the crease. Wallen picks up the ground ball, and the defender, not realizing where he was, runs in and out of the crease.
Sold out Michigan crowd loves it. 2,500 in attendance. Ryan Cohen got past the first man, tried to go across rather dangerously, picked off and back on the Buckeyes.
Yeah, that's a risky pass, obviously throwing all the way across the Ohio State defense. Van Buren was able to pick it off. If you're Cohen there, just throw it forward, live to fight another day. Get deeper into the shot clock. You want to, take a little bit more of a risk. Go for it, but that was the first dodge starting the offense. You just scored a goal. Momentum's in your favor. You're going to be winning these face-offs. Get deeper into the possession before you throw that.
Turns into an opportunity on the offensive side of things.
Going to have a hold.
Down on the deck, there's Jack Myers.
Okay, got a push, 30-second push. It was an unfortunate break there for the Wolverines. They were a little late in their slide here with the catch, and I don't know. I feel like it was from the side to me. Either way, man up for the Buckeyes, and they were able to score pretty easily on their first and only opportunity.
It came in the opening seconds of that man-up chance in the first half.
Let's see what they draw up.
Michigan penalty called on number 4, Michael Frischette.
Jack Myers at the top. Dishes it over. Whistling wide. The shot there from Colby Smith.
Yeah, if you're Michigan, you got to recognize where number 4 is and get to his hands early.
It's Colby Smith on the far side. Down low here on the near side of things. They go to work. Chance in front, golden opportunity, and the Buckeyes capitalize on the man up for the second time tonight.
Jack Myers is so good running the point on that 3-3 set for the Buckeyes. Look at him just hold the defense. Man, his vision is electric, phenomenal. I mean, any adverb you want to put in there, throw it in there.
Found Matt Caputo, the freshman, in his first U of M versus Ohio State game. Finds his 10th goal of the season. And you love to see that if you're a Buckeye fan as well. They have a chance to potentially take the lead here.
Yeah, and that man up that they scored on, it was just the opposite. We saw Shean on the other wing, the low post there. On the first one, it was Caputo on the second. Same feed, just opposite post there from Myers. So
here they come again, right down the alley.
Good save from Carr.
Carr stayed in, by the way. We expected to maybe see Hunter Taylor, the other goalie for Michigan. This turns into a chance on the opposite side and a goal for the Wolverines.
That was a tight window for Michael Boehm. And he just stung that corner. You see Van Buren trying to slow play. Man, absolute heat. Michael Boehm's third of the game. Sorry, was that his fourth? So Ohio State can continue their...
Nope. His fourth.
Yeah, 4 goals. Michael Boehm.
By number 5, Michael Boehm.
Rowlett with the win.
Assist to number 24, Oliver Mirer at 12-14.
Last time Michigan beat Ohio State was 2 years ago. They've struggled on this home field against the Buckeyes, but are back on top. Thompson.
And that Michigan goal, the Michael Boehm, the transition opportunity, starts with a save from Carr. Stands tall. He's one-on-one with Borda. Beat him to the spot.
Bryce Clay was crashing in there, turned into a follow-up bid. Came from Jacob Jackson, who's been close to scoring a couple of times today.
Fortuitous bounce for the Wolverines, and then for the Buckeyes off the post.
Another chance.
Nice sneak from Bryce Clay. Just not able to put it on target.
Clay, the grad student, Grand Rapids native, had a hat trick against Penn State last week. That was an 11-9, somewhat heartbreaking loss for Michigan. They felt they could have won that game.
Kick save from Wallen.
Beautifully done.
Now, Ohio State, Mikey Boehm had the matchup there against the short stick, and I think you just go. You just slide and rotate and recover. You're trying to slow play. Michael Boehm was able to find an open teammate, and Wallen makes a great save.
Zawada's in front. Jackson, long range. That time he finds the back of the net.
It starts with Zawada on the dodge, drawing the slide. This is really hard on a defense. You'll see they throw through X, and then Clay brings it right back. So if you're a defense, you flip. If you're staring at the ball at X, you're opening your hips, and then it comes right back. Jackson knows where to put it. Just blows it by Wallen.
His 16th of the season, first tonight after a couple of good chances in that opening half.
And 16th goal of the season, scored by number 15.
Wolverines moving and grooving off the face-off win.
Assisted by number 3, Bryce Clay at 10-25.
That was an insurance goal to give them a little cushion here of 2.
Yeah, so Michigan's continuing their success at the face-off. They've won 17 to Ohio State's 4. If you're Ohio State, to stop the bleeding, you need to stop.
Thompson awaiting the feed and has it. Working to the left of Mulholland. Pressured by Eiland.
Where Ohio State's had trouble. Decided to slide.
Zawada thought about it, instead dished off. Patient work from him. Mikey Boehm operating with 15 on the shot clock. Mulholland with 10 on the shot clock.
So Ohio State had the invert again from the Wolverines. They decided to slide and rotate and recover. Now they only have 7 seconds left.
Zawada just 2 seconds. Boehm, sharp angle.
Hit the defender in front, didn't get on cage. So shot clock violation. Buckeye ball. So good stand there if you're Ohio State. And if you're Michigan, that's a great possession for you as well. You're up 2, you're wearing the defense down, use the full shot clock. Didn't turn it over.
Now causing some pressure here. Buckeyes ultimately break through it. Can they take a collective breath in the midst of the early stages of this third quarter like Michigan was able to at the half?
Ohio State was close to not getting the ball over, and Coach Connery was working this near side official, letting them know, hey, they didn't get it over in time.
Buckeyes operating offensively. Eiland, really good feeder, 3 in black. Puts it to the X position here.
Mitchell Pehlke, goal.
Excellent job on the bounce shot. The maneuver out in front from Pehlke. Buckeyes back within 1.
So a slick move from Pehlke. Michigan sent help just a little bit late. You see, this is the matchup that we've continued to talk about. This one-on-one against the shorts. Yeah, Welsh, he does a pretty good job here. Gets into him, and you see this. They're just a little late. Darby's a little bit late getting there. Give Pehlke a lot of credit for kind of feeling that and just getting upfield enough. Coming back near post. That's a slick move from Mitchell Pehlke.
Pehlke's 7th goal of the season. His dad, Kevin, was an All-American lacrosse player in Virginia. Now Ohio State trying to tie things back up here.
And the rare Buckeye face-off win. See if they can capitalize.
Come at a premium today. Here's a chance to potentially tie it. Goes wide. And ever since Blanchard went down, he was their main face-off man as a flag goes flying.
Free play for the Wolverines. We're going to have a push against Buckeyes. They hit Carr in the back. We'll see if it's a loose ball possession. We'll see what they get here. But either way, it's a free opportunity for the Wolverines.
They'll take their time. Justin Brown with it on the far side. Standout football player in high school. I'd love to see him get a role in latter stages of the season. 2 coaches that think their teams certainly have the capability to get hot down the final stretch here.
He's a guy that can get hot. Hasn't scored yet this season.
Zawada. Certainly a guy who can find the back of the net with ease. There's a shot that does find the back of the net. Ryan Cohen this time, as the man up was brewing.
Looks like they wiped the flag off. See here. So they got the push. Good possession. So they have the free play. The Wolverines are able to capitalize. Cohen with a nice pitch. Gets to the top side. Fights through it. Nice job waiting to take the contact. Great shot placement.
Wolverines go back up 11-9. Cohen's 20th.
Michigan goal.
So that was a good answer from the Wolverines. We had to get a defensive stop, and then we're able to score. Another face-off win for the Buckeyes. This will be 2 in a row here.
Oh, almost an egregious turnover. They do give it up. Now Zawada on the move. Potential numbers. Finds it out in front, and they capitalize.
Opportunistic lacrosse from the Wolverines. And this was one we got to enjoy from up in the booth. Seeing Michael Boehm streak to that backside. She starts with a turnover. Great ground ball, behind the back pass. Head up from Zawada, the streaking Michael Boehm catch, finish. One more time. Wolverines 12, Buckeyes 9.
Tonight's State of Success is brought to you by State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. We just saw Boehm streaking down that far side, and it essentially turned into a 2-on-1 off a turnover. He's got 29 goals on the season now. 5 of the 12 Michigan goals today.
He's adding to his total, and you look at that stat, the three-headed monster of the Michigan Wolverines with Boehm, Zawada, and Cohen. 3 of the top 4 in points per game are on this Wolverine attack line. That's unheard of. You saw TJ Malone there at the top, fantastic player from Penn State. Now, if you're Ohio State, you've won the last 2 faceoffs, make it last 3, but they've resulted in Wolverine goals. So we'll see if they can reset. We'll see if they can take that deep breath that the Wolverines took at halftime.
That last one is a turnover that they would love to have back.
Yeah, just an unforced error, and those happen. You got to play through those.
Here's Magee, athletic midi.
You talk about when you're losing all those faceoffs, how valuable every possession is.
This one feels very big for Ohio State. Trying to bounce back and calm things down. Now trailing by 3 goals. At one point had tied it 8-8. Since then, Michigan with 3 of the last 4 goals in this game. Instead of 5 minutes to go in the third quarter between these 2 rivals.
10 seconds remaining on the shot clock.
Lewis put it in behind the cage. Operating is Jack Myers with 4 on the shot clock. Help comes Myers, and that'll wind things down. A shot clock violation, brilliantly played by Michigan.
Great defensive set from the Wolverines. Slides, recoveries. The sidelines fired up, rightfully so. It's a nice job from the Wolverine defense in this third quarter. Every time Ohio State's come away, face-off victory of getting those stops.
Cohen, Zawada, they go tic-tac-toe to the X position now. Will they go to next?
Ohio State's hung up. See Wallen step outside. He feels comfortable outside the cage, being such a great athlete. Good ball movement to start this possession from the Wolverines.
Zawada out high. Got past his man and scores. 13-9.
See the athleticism from Zawada. He's able to separate so easily. I thought the long stick defender from Ohio State got a piece of his stick at the end. We'll see. See here, just a little bounce in that step, gets his hands free. I think the defender might have caught it, but not enough. Weight room paying off for Josh Zawada, fighting through that check, finding the back of the net.
The first step there, is that what causes that?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
quick.
You see, just the way he moves that bounce, right? That bounce, that ability. You don't have to be fast. You got to be quick if you're going to start the party on offense. And Zawada has that quickness.
Right down the alley, another chance off that face-off win brewing. It'll result in at least a man up.
Ohio State right now is on thin ice. Everything is going Michigan's way. Just won another face-off. They're about to go man up. You got to dig deep and find a stop. See the hooking there. Sure. Just clips Rowlett.
Rowlett, a part of that excellent face-off duo.
So we talked about the special teams being an area of improvement for the Wolverines per Coach Connery. We'll see if the Wolverines are able to find the back of the net on this possession.
Peter Thompson over to Ryan Cohen. Downstairs, Zawada. 3 minutes to go in this third quarter. Zawada winds, fires, scores!
All right, so this game has flipped so quickly. 14-9 now in favor of the Wolverines, and you got to find this guy once again. Just late getting out. And Zawada beats Wallen with the low-to-low. Comes back near side. That's a great shot.
Hat trick for Zawada.
The second halves have been tough sledding for the Buckeyes in their last 3 games against Maryland, Penn State, and Hopkins. They only scored 2 against Maryland, and 3 against Penn State, only 1 against Hopkins.
More good work from the Wolverines. Zawada, by the way, one of the seniors honored before the game today on Senior Day here at Michigan. His mom, Denise, and dad, John, in attendance. Will graduate in May with a degree in sports management.
And Michigan, kudos to their offense. They put up 7 in this quarter with a chance to make it 8. And this is where, if you're the Ohio State defense, those face-off wins are just wearing you down.
Led to another chance for the Wolverines.
Officials are discussing, and the goal is good.
Yep. They're on a roll now. It's a game of runs, and right now the runs are favoring Michael Boehm in Michigan.
Yeah, that's 6. And you see here, we talked earlier about Michael Boehm and his ability, just that knack. Look at him. Wow. How about that? The creativity, the one-hander. I mean, this is the hand-eye coordination to be able to pull this off under pressure, getting hit, just gets enough to get it in the back of the net. We talked about him and his ability around that crease, the toughness that it takes to hang in there, to tiptoe that crease.
He's tied a career high in goals with 6. On number 30 of the season for Boehm.
I mean, you talk about a kid who grew up in Ohio, came to Michigan. He understands this rivalry better than anybody. And him putting up a game like he's having, going down in the history books. One of the best performances in this rivalry. Good for him.
80 seconds left in this third quarter. It's felt like it's been all Michigan. It has.
See when Michigan decides to attack. Going to keep the foot on the gas or try and use some of this clock against the Buckeyes. 27 seconds remaining in the shot clock, a minute in the game clock.
Cohen got past the initial man with a nice burst.
Yeah, once a defense gets tired, I think you really start to see in the slide packages and the recoveries just a little bit late.
Number 16 for the Wolverines comes with 39 seconds left in this third quarter.
And only 3 seconds left on the shot clock.
A late strike that the sold-out crowd loves, deflating for the Ohio State Buckeyes.
See Cohen here. Ohio State is stuck. You see Eiland having a hard time deciding if he wants to leave the crease. Cohen does a great job just being patient, getting to a good spot. Hey, nobody slide into me. Put it in the back of the net. 9 goals for the Wolverines in this quarter.
35 seconds left in it. They win another face-off, leads to another transition bid. That one simmered wide. We've seen that a couple of times today.
Guys dodge a bullet.
At 39 seconds of the third period.
So shot clock not a factor. Final possession, most likely, of the third quarter, which has been all Wolverines.
As Greg mentioned, 9 goals in this quarter for Michigan. They're starting to open it up now.
Make it 10. Hey, and I'll tell you what. I don't think this pass was going to Michael Boehm. I think it was going inside. But hey, when things are going your way, when it rains, it pours. And man, is it pouring right now. Take a look at this feed. Michael Boehm, right place, right time. Adding to his goal total. Make that 7.
A 7-goal night for Boehm.
Hey, on 8 shots. You think that workout he had after last game is paying off?
That's a career high for Boehm.
We talked about him going 0 for 8 last week, staying after till the lights shut off, getting extra shots. Glad to see it's paying off for him.
He stayed out on the field after that lost to Penn State until 10:30 at night. Boehm with number 10. Wolverines lead it 17-9 after 3 quarters of play. You can see that the coaching is certainly still going on there in the Michigan huddle. That third quarter, 10 goals. 7 today from Mikey Boehm, who's been spectacular to say the least. There's head coach Kevin Connery.
Yeah, I'd assume Coach Connery is saying, guys, foot on the gas, keep this going. Talk about this rivalry, what it means. You're building momentum. If they win this game, they're hosting right next Saturday. Get that momentum, keep it rolling. And if you're Ohio State, obviously this is a tough spot. You're down 8. And your possessions are hard to come by. And goals are hard to come by. You're not getting stops right now. So it's, you got to stay the course. You got to keep building. You got to keep working. And you need some things to go your way. And if it continues this way, at what point do you just try and keep, start pulling some of your guys, try and stay healthy, knowing that you have a game next week? And for you to extend your season, if you want to make the NCAA tournament, you're going to have to make a run in the Big Ten tournament.
Well, earlier today, Penn State clinched a share of the Big Ten regular season title with their win over Rutgers. Maryland and Hopkins will play tomorrow. That's on Big Ten Network. Find out who is the other side of the share in that one. And this, a matchup to determine who will get the 4 seed. And of course, that means you host. So a big one tonight. Still 14 minutes to go in this matchup. Michigan trying to be as comfy as they can be down the final stretch.
Yeah, they're just putting it on right now. Cohen is calling his own number. You're going to see this dodge here. He splits and then comes right back to his left hand. So he goes left to right, brings it back to his left hand to increase his angle. And then right here, he uses Hudgens as a screen. If you're walling, you can't see that ball till it's on you. And so for Cohen, understanding what's a great shot, you don't even have to be perfect because the goalie can't see it, understanding the screen, understanding, where he is and what he has in front of him. It's a great finish and another face-off win here, another possession for the Wolverines.
Ohio State were to lose today, they'd be the 5 seed based on Rutgers losing earlier today.
Yeah, and then they're going to play the loser of, I'm sorry, they'll come back here and play Michigan, won't they?
Michigan going to get the 4. Last season, it was the same way when these two teams played 2 straight weeks. Ohio State, on the flip side, won both of those matchups on the final day of the regular season, and then a week later in the quarters to beat Michigan 2 times in 2 weeks. Wolverines, of course, remember that, and they're playing like they remember that tonight.
Yeah, I think it's, obviously you want to play at home, so that's priority number 1. We'll say on the flip side of that, it's really hard to play the same team in back-to-back weeks.
That's always an interesting wrinkle. Obviously, you know each other very well. There's the emotion that goes along with it. You've almost seen the emotion in how fast Michigan has played today. That's paid dividends off the face-off wins that, as anticipated, have really favored them throughout the night.
Yeah, and the Wolverines have used the 2-goalie system in a couple of these games. They brought in Taylor, the freshman. They've stayed with Carr, and he's made some great saves in the second half of this game.
That was one subject we were looking at, if Carr would play the entire game, as we've seen them flip-flop in the past. Aiden Mulholland's on the move here, showcasing his wheels, looking for options. Is Peter Thompson in the vicinity, who's tumbling down side of the cage.
Yeah, no slide again from the Ohio State defense, just one-on-one on the doorstep. Wallen turns him away, makes a save, and you just look at the difference on the sidelines, the energy right here. Everything's gone the Wolverines' way the second half.
2 different levels of emotion. Buckeye fans have traveled for this one. Sellout 2,500. The Michigan fans have been in full throat throughout the course of this second half. And right away in the third quarter, after Coach Conrad said they took a collective breath, it's really paid off. Now they're getting back to their game. 10 goals in the third quarter for Michigan.
See Michigan's coaching staff, the offensive coordinator Scott Bice deciding, putting his hands up, we're slowing it down. Ohio State checks into zone.
Scott Bice in his first season as the Michigan offensive coordinator.
If you're Michigan too, I think the question is, at what point do you decide, at what point do we feel comfortable with our lead? Make sure all of our guys stay healthy for next week.
Would that follow along with more of a conservative style of play?
Yeah, use some clock. I mean, how many possessions? You're winning every face-off. How many stops do you need to have to not allow 9 goals in this one quarter of play? I mean, it's an uphill battle for the Buckeyes, obviously, and it's just, I mean, the incline is increased because of the face-off domination from the Wolverines. So you give up a goal here, you give up a goal there, but you're winning and you're eating another minute off the clock every time. It's a really tough scenario for the Buckeyes.
This is a game that was tied at halftime. Now 19-8, make it 19-9 in favor of Michigan. The Buckeyes have a high hurdle to climb, but that's the start of it if they can get rolling. Ari Allen able to get on the score sheet.
Yeah, Ari Allen, Ohio State's happy to see him score. He's been battling injuries, been in and out of the lineup. Nice pass here from Lewis, and a good finish. Just a little slip there on the inside, finding a soft spot.
Ohio State goal, scored by number 3.
This game was 8-8 in the third quarter. Ohio State had a possession and a chance to take the lead. Ever since then, prior to that last Ari Allen goal, it had been all Michigan. They get the possession here. Another shot and another goal. Brings up my next question for you, Greg. When Ohio State did get on that run in the second quarter, what were they doing well that they maybe need to get back to here?
They were winning their matchups, number one. They were getting to good spots on the field, and they were finishing their shots. Carr's made some good saves here in the second. This right here, Jack Myers. Obviously, Ohio State's playing a little faster than normal, but this is the guy you got to cover, especially from the outside. You see the strength of Colby Smith there to catch, handle the pressure, and put it on net. This is what you got to keep doing if you're Ohio State. Just you're not looking for great opportunities. You're looking for the first opportunity. And this is not going to help.
Going to be a penalty coming up on Ohio State.
And Darby took a big hit there. We have free possession for the Wolverines. So if you're Michigan, you want to use this full clock. I'm not sure what happened there. Or what they called. I was going to say, if you're the Wolverines, you want to use the full clock here. And then the next one, you're going to see this hit here. That was on Darby. Oh, yeah. Just a little cross check there. It wasn't too bad. Caught him in the right. He was off balance a little bit. All right, so 30-second penalty. Call a push.
Ohio State penalty called on number 18.
Last time Michigan had a man up, they took advantage of the opportunity. Haven't done that a lot this season, but it feels like everything in the second half, for the most part, has gone their way.
Everything.
Oh, bounced off the turf, scooped up by Cohen. And, a little deception there. Ultimately, Wallen was able to handle it and pounce on it.
Yeah, save from Wallen there, but once again, that even the bounce, fortuitous bounce right there to Cohen looked like it was going to be deflected. Gets through. He's able to put his shot on Wallen.
Mikey Boehm has scored in so many ways today. We saw him with one of his several goals today was a deflection. Michigan has done that earlier in the game. They're up 18-11 now.
Yeah, he's obviously a fantastic player, and even better young man.
You're a big fan of his. You know him well.
Yeah, how about when we talked to Coach Connery, he said the legacy and what he's going to leave on this program is far more than goals and assists. His leadership, energy that he brings, it's contagious, and he's been here. I mean, he's built this program. It's one of the newer programs in college lacrosse. Obviously started in 2012. At varsity, they had that great club program for so long under John Paul. And so, him coming here and playing and helping build this culture that will carry on for forever. His fingerprint is all over this program.
Cohen collaborating there with Zawada. Back to Cohen.
Yeah, the zone here from the Ohio State defense against this Wolverine offense. Michigan just looks real comfortable moving the ball, working it back and forth, skip passes. Ohio State's defense is extremely tired. You can't come back and play the zone, down 7. You're just going to eat minutes off the clock every offensive possession.
Time is a virtue right now if you're the Buckeyes. You only have a finite amount out of it. 6 minutes and 57 seconds to be exact in regulation. I've seen so many good overtime games around the Big Ten over the last couple of weeks, just kind of showcasing really how tight this league has been. Michigan using a 10-goal third quarter to expand their cushion. There's a goal that brings Ohio State one closer. 18-12 now. That's Dillon Magee.
For Ohio State, one of the positives is that the shots you're putting on goal have been going in. You got 12 goals on 17 shots on net.
Been efficient.
Yeah, then if these teams are going to meet again next week, the big thing is, what do you do with the faceoff X? What do you draw up they came out, they double pulled. That didn't do anything against the Wolverines. And then, Hogan's had a little bit of success at tying him up, but you look at those stats on the face-off.
Started out 13-3.
And it's 26-8 at this point in favor of the Wolverines.
Good to see Dillon Magee get a roll in there. He didn't score against Hopkins last week after a streak of 7 straight with a goal prior to that.
There's 6 minutes remaining. Ohio State just got to go here.
You look to get that big little matchup, or is it just go whenever you can?
Go when you like a matchup. Go. You got your hands free. Shoot it.
Inside of 6 minutes, here they come.
Talked about you're probably playing. If you score, you're probably playing defense to start. After a face-off loss. So you're not going to have many possessions and many opportunities.
Almost feels like you have to be nearly perfect here.
You do.
Opportunity opened up there. Colby Smith wanted that one back.
Yes, he did. That was one of the easiest looks he's had all night.
They do get the possession here, but the clock continues to dwindle down. Jack Myers and around Smith there. A little two-man game between those two.
Good save there from Carr. Not a great shot from Myers, but don't hate it. It was on target. It was on cage. As we talked about, your hands are free. You see the net. Give it a shot. Yeah, and here's where Michigan will just chew clock. Look at the shot discrepancy. 46 for the Wolverines, 30 for the Buckeyes.
And a byproduct of those face-offs on Senior Day here in Ann Arbor. The seniors and their families honored before the game. It's turned into a fun, crisp night in mid-April. Cohen turns, nice pass. Led to an opportunity there.
Boehm had his hands free. Why not? Everything else has gone in.
He's the guy to feed right now. It doesn't matter where he is. A goal for the Buckeyes. 18-13 now with 4 minutes to go.
Caputo, right place, right time.
Caputo's second of the night. Buckeyes down to their last breath, but not giving up just yet. We'll see if they can continue to come back when we return. This one's certainly not over yet. Here's the Big Ten title race. To recap it, Penn State has clinched at least a share after their win over Rutgers earlier today. And Maryland and Hopkins with a share on the line again tomorrow.
So if Maryland wins, they will be the 1 seed. Still be champions. Whoever wins that game will be the Big Ten regular season champion, their share of the title. Hopkins wins, Penn State will be the 1 seed. Based on the head-to-head. You look at these stats. Michigan has 46 ground balls to Ohio State's 18. Just think about it as like a rebound in basketball, that extra possession that you're getting for your squad by picking that thing up. So I'll tell you how much defense the Buckeyes have been playing. Obviously the face-off specialist, Rowlett, Wietfeldt, man, they are a 1-2 punch.
They certainly are. Have played a key role in that number. Reason why the Michigan Wolverines are up 5 here in the fourth quarter. 3 minutes left in it. Trying to pad their cushion and fend off this late Ohio State push.
Talking about Rowlett and Wietfeldt. Love what Coach Connery does, the 3-on, 3-off. And so it's, we talk about that, you know what it is, like as an athlete, I've got 3 off and I'm coming back and I got 3 on. And there's never like hey, coach isn't playing me because I lost the last 2 or the last 1. Like you're in this rotation, you know what's coming. You know you have a teammate, you know you got a guy who's got your back. You don't have to be perfect. And you also know you're not going to fatigue if you're going against one guy. Some of these other teams have one really good guy, not 2 like the Wolverines. There's Bryce Clay, and this is kind of what we talked about. At what point, if you're the Wolverines, do you pull out Magee? Do you pull out Zawada? Do you pull out Cohen? Just make sure they are 100%. Don't take any late injuries here.
Bryce Clay took a bump there. Ohio State really down to their last breath now. 2:13 to go in regulation. Trailing by 5 goals, needing to work very quickly here.
Yeah, you can't even sub really if you're Ohio State. It just takes 15, 20 seconds to get your personnel on. Just leave everybody on and go to the cage.
Opportunity opened up briefly there. Instead of the final 2 minutes now. Remember, these teams could meet up next week. Results stay the same, so perhaps not the final time they'll see one another, just like last season. On the opposite side of the script, though, is Ohio State beating Michigan 2 times a season ago in consecutive weeks, as the Buckeyes get 1 back there with 1:48 to go.
Another late one here for Caputo.
He has a hat trick now.
Just winning your matchup. No slide from the Wolverines. See the move, get upfield. He's got the short stick matchup, inside roll. And once again, it's just, you got to recognize your matchup. That's something that Coach Connery fired up the silence and guys, finish this game. That's one there where you just have to recognize personnel. You have to recognize what you have, who you have personnel-wise, and where they are on the field, and be ready to help, be ready to support. All right, Wallen looked like he was going to double the ball. Here comes the double now from the Buckeyes. And right here, you have to just play bookends and turn a guy back. You can't let him get around you. You played so much defense. If you're Ohio State, it's, what do you got left in the tank at this point to try and double the ball? You have to push out.
Bonomi just trying to hang on here. These Michigan fans that sold out the stadium today are feeling it now.
Yes, they are.
There's a goal.
Give him number 8.
To put the icing on the cake.
That was an empty netter, the easiest one of Michael Boehm's night. Something tells me it felt just as good as his first goal of the night.
His first 7 of the night.
Fair enough. Yeah, who better to finish it off here than Michael Boehm? Yeah, Michigan showing their offensive prowess, scoring 19. And now you're seeing substitutions come in. Another win for the Wolverines at the Face-Off X. Repeat.
They would love to repeat this result potentially next week.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's a program record, 8 goals, by the way.
In this game.
Yes, in this game of all games, the one that means so much to both fan bases.
Yeah, and if we're going to rewind this next week, if you're Ohio State, how do you get more possessions? And if you're the Wolverines, you feel pretty good about your offense, but I think you want to clean some things up on the defensive end.
Well, Michigan is back on top of the most important rivalry of all. They take down Ohio State on senior night in Ann Arbor. They will be seated 4th in the upcoming Big Ten tournament, which means they'll host and play these Buckeyes once more.
Boehm, what a performance. Incredible. Like you said, having that kind of performance in this game for a kid who's from Ohio, chose to come to Michigan. You talked about the family, the roots that he has, the tradition, the Wolverine blood that he's had. You know, there's pictures of him playing at halftime back when Michigan was a club team.
Well, it's fun to bring it to you. A blast to work with you, my friends.
Agree.
They'll get back at it next week. Again, Michigan defeats Ohio State 19-14, the final. For our awesome crew, Greg Bice, Jason Ross Jr., we had a blast bringing this one to you today. The Wolverines take down the Buckeyes in Ann Arbor. For the first time in a couple of years, they get a win in this series. Ohio State will try to bounce back with postseason on the horizon. Hopkins and Maryland will meet tomorrow. We'll step aside and say so long. Again, the Wolverines win it 19-14 here in Ann Arbor.